I moved into this quiet apartment building last year. It wasn't anything fancy, but it was cheap and, most importantly, peaceful. The kind of place where everyone pretty much keeps to themselves. My next door neighbor was an older woman, Mrs. Dyer. She always had a kind smile for me in the hallway, but she was a woman of few words. Every single night, like clockwork, I'd hear her rocking chair through the thin wall. Creak, creak, creak. It was a strange comfort, a rhythm I grew accustomed to. One evening, I was heading home late from work. As I trudged up the stairs, I saw Mrs. Dyer standing in the dimly lit hallway. She looked different, pale, almost translucent, and so weak. She leaned in and whispered, "You shouldn't stay here tonight." Her voice was like dry leaves rustling. Before I could even process what she said or ask why, she turned and disappeared back into her apartment. That night was restless. Sleep just wouldn't come. The rocking sound from next door didn't stop. It just went on, for what felt like hours. Creak, 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 and then, all of a sudden, silence. A heavy, unnerving silence. The next morning, I saw my landlord outside, looking troubled. He asked if I'd heard anything strange during the night. I told him no, nothing out of the ordinary, just Mrs. Dyer's rocking chair as usual. He got this really confused look on his face. He stared at me for a second and then said, "Are you sure? Mrs. Dyer passed away 2 nights ago." I froze. My blood ran cold. I stammered, telling him that it wasn't possible. I had seen her just last night, right here in the hallway. He just slowly shook his head, a look of pity in his eyes. He handed me a key. He explained that her family hadn't been able to come and clear out her things yet, so if I heard anything again, I should check inside. That evening, I stood in front of her door, my hand trembling as I held the key. I didn't want to go in. Every instinct was screaming at me to run. But the rocking sound had started again. That slow, deliberate creak, creak, creak was pulling me in. I finally worked up the nerve, unlocked the door, and pushed it open. The apartment was dark and frigid, the air thick with the sweet, cloying smell of old, wilting flowers. And there, in the center of the living room, was the rocking chair, moving slowly back and forth all by itself. My heart was pounding in my chest. I fumbled for the light switch and flicked it on. The chair stopped moving instantly, and there, sitting on the velvet seat, was a small, dusty music box. It was open, and as I got closer, I realized it was playing that same eerie, creaking rhythm. I cautiously picked up the music box. The moment my fingers touched it, the sound stopped. Complete silence. And then, I heard a whisper right behind me. "Put it back." I spun around so fast I nearly fell. There was no one there. But as my eyes darted around the room, they landed on the antique mirror hanging above the dresser. And in its reflection, I saw her, Mrs. Dyer, sitting in the chair, rocking again, a faint smile on her face. I dropped the box and I ran. I didn't even stop to think. I just ran out of that apartment, out of the building, and didn't look back. I moved out the very next morning, found a new place on the other side of town, hoping to leave it all behind. For a while, everything seemed normal again. I started to think maybe I'd imagined it all, a product of stress and an overactive imagination. Until last night. When I got home from work, there was a small brown paper package sitting on my doormat. No name, no return address. My hands were shaking as I tore it open, and inside, nestled in tissue paper, was that same music box. As soon as I lifted it out, it started playing on its own. Creak, 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 and then, from the box itself, a tiny whisper emerged. "You forgot to say goodbye." They say that when the dead aren't ready to leave, they find ways to send reminders. I think my reminder found me, and I have a terrible feeling that she's still rocking, somewhere very, very close. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more chills. Stay safe out there.